Hey everybody, coming at you with one more video. It's Pastor Brendan from Word of Life Church, of course, you know me. We're going to look at the key of D today for acoustic guitar. And this is actually a lot of stuff for electric in here, especially near the end of the video. And so stay tuned for that. Key of D. Of course, you know, just like in C, we had those planted fingers there. In G, we had these planted fingers for all the chords, right? Which makes it sound really pretty. In D, it's essentially the same thing. You can do that too. So you can play every chord, actually, by essentially playing your third finger on the third fret of the B string. And depending, your fingers do change a little bit, but you can play the second fret of the G string. And those notes can actually sustain in every chord, at least respectively, okay? The most common chords in the key of D. And so I'll show you what I mean. D chord, which you know. Classic D chord. I almost never play this, the F sharp. I almost always play a D2. Because it just sounds better and prettier, adds some more dissonance. And of course, you got to be pretty, right? And then you have your 4 chord, which is a G. But look, you can keep those fingers exactly where they are for that D and just add your G. Add your pinky maybe on the top to complete it. Or just mute the bottom E string. And that's a G2 chord, which is super pretty. And then we have your A chord, your 5 chord, okay, the 5th note in the scale of the D scale, which I play. You can play with 2 fingers like this. And again, I'm keeping my third finger here on the D, on that D note, on the 3rd fret of the B string. And again, the A chord keeps that 2nd fret of the G string. And I'm just going to add my pointer finger here to make that A. And technically that's an A suspended 4. But together, so you have your D, keeping that there, your G, and then your A. Okay, it adds some consistency throughout and kind of has that droning D note. That's what this is. Throughout all the chords, and it just helps it sit in the mix and sound really pretty. And then last chord, the minor chord, is a B minor, which you can actually play a B minor 7 in this shape, which is without barring. And it's super common and super popular and sounds great. And it's like this. You have your first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then you play the D string open. And then you have your middle finger on the, guess what, 2nd fret of the G string, which stays there. And then your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And if you want, you can play that high E string. I almost always just keep it muted for this one. But you can play it. And so that's essentially the 4 most basic chords in the key of D. Another thing I want to show you, this is a bit more advanced, is you can do some great... They're similar to like a 6th formation, so. And you can do that in any key, but the nice thing about D is with that particular shape of 6th formations, you can let that D string ring out. And so what I'm doing here is, this is just a G. It's actually a modified, you know, if I were to do like an E bar chord for a G, I'm actually stealing the note on the 6th string. And I'm stealing the note on the 3rd string. Except instead of barring, I'm just playing those like this. And then you can leave the D string open like this. That's my G. I can slide that up to an A, 5th fret. I can slide that up to a B, which is the B minor on the 7th fret, sorry. And this time, because it's minor, I want to move my pinky down a fret to the 7th fret of the G string. Instead of, right, this would be major. You don't want that, you want minor. And I can add that up to the C sharp if I want. To add some tension back to the D on the 10th fret. And then I move my pinky to the 11th fret because it's major now. So I have G, I have A, I have B minor, C sharp minor, or C sharp diminished technically, and D. And you can actually, on electric guitar, it's very common to strum these, and it sounds really good, especially if you mute the A string with your middle finger as you're playing this. Right? That's what you're playing. And then you don't play the high strings, you mute those as well. But it sounds really good. And you can, of course, use your pointer finger if you want. I like to use my pinky and my whatever. You can use your third finger here if you want. And you can strum those. Whoops. Right, and it's just a nice open voicing. You're not playing too many strings, and it just cuts through really nice, especially if you got some overdrive or something on an electric guitar. It sounds really nice. If you know the song Known by Torn Wells, it does something similar in D. He does that shape again. I'm going to use my middle finger and my pinky, and then I'm adding my third finger, and it's a bit tricky to get this shape, but I'm adding my third finger on the 10th fret of the B string. So it looks like this. And I actually use this a lot, this shape, in worship music, especially with the finger picking pattern, with that open D droning. I can move this shape for any of the major chords in D. So I can take it on the 10, which is the D. I can go back down to the 3rd fret, which is a G. I can move it up to the A. Right? And then I can move it up to the B as well, B minor. Except this time, I need to tuck my pinky to the 7th fret because it's a minor chord instead of having it on the 8, because on the 8 it'll sound bad like this. Right, I don't want that. I want the minor. And it sounds really pretty. So I got the D up here, I got the G, I got the A, with the B minor. Oh, my phone's dying. What you can also do is, again, this is an advanced lesson, so I'll go fast, is you can play the D/F sharp here, and the G, and you can hammer that with, if you put your pointer finger on the 2nd fret, you can do that on the A too. You can do that on the B minor if you hammer from the 6th fret on the G string to the 7th, and the same thing on 10. So you can do that on so many worship songs. Okay, pretty sweet. Sounds super pretty. I hope this will help, bring some creativity, give some new life to your worship songs and your different strumming. Instead of just strumming the basic chords, you can play these awesome things. All right. Again, signing off. This is Pastor Brennan from Word of Life Church. You all know me. Hope you learned something. This was key of D. And next time we will show you the key of E. There's so many awesome things you can do in the key of E. So we'll see you then. See you guys.